For those who have been actually paying attention to me, I know it's hard. I ramble on in these videos forever, but I have been working on the next writer's Bane. As I was saying earlier, formatting 101, I have research. Writer's Bane is sort of an impression of being a writer, wanting to be a writer, the urge to write. It's sort of a curse and a blessing at the same time. It's something we're compelled to do for those of us who have started our adventures of indie authors and have books in hand, right? It's a passion job. And that's okay. So I wrote research because people are like, well, how are you incorporating this and keeping it organized? And how do you take an aspect of what is the way you process this? And that's what that book is about, that workbook. And then formatting 101 is sort of self-explanatory. Everyone is always like, who did your cover? And who did your amazing typesets? Well, I do. I went to school for graphic design, but I self-taught myself to do book design. And I got jobs. I freelance. I did my own work. I helped co-find Four Horsemen, and I've taught others. I've hosted workshops. I've worked on traditional side, both as sort of the outsourcing and in-house in the cubicles, right? So it's been a wild ride. I've touched thousands. I've helped create thousands of books, and it's wild to even think about. I have created textbooks and game books and encouraged others and aided others in making those things and doing their dream job, or at least dream book at some point or another, which has been pretty cool. But what is the next stop in the writer's Bane? It is writing a novel 101. I have taught workshops on the craft of writing, elements of writing a novel 101, even for the Orange County Library System down in Orlando, Florida, once or twice. And I want to put all of these workshops, all of these things I've talked about in various videos and on webinars and on interviews and panels someplace. And it's so far very chunky. It's a chunky boy. The book is already 58,000 words long, and that's just me trying to take what I've already written, compartmentalize it, and work it out. But one of those aspects that I think is missed a lot, and of course this book is going to include a lot of stuff that people have heard me talk about both here on my channel and on other channels. I'm going to talk about foreshadowing and breaking it down and identifying and how to use it. I want to talk about character development and character arcs and the different types of characters in your stories. I'm going to focus a whole section on what type of writer you are, trying to figure out what type of writer you are, and at the same point also talk about developing your writing style. When you're a first-time author and you're trying to work on your first publishing piece, you sometimes don't know what your writing style is, what makes a writing style, what your writing voice is, the type of voices. I'm trying to flesh those things out. I am picking the brains. I'm sharing it with my writing crew, and it's been a pretty cool adventure. And people are like, oh my God, I didn't think of it that way. All kind of moments when I do discuss it with others. So it's taken me a lot longer than I expected to write this next writer's Bane, because I'm putting a lot of TLC and love and care in that, right? Because I want to make sure that no matter what type of writer you are, if you're the writer who's just thinking about publishing, or you're the writer who's struggling, or you're the established writer who's trying to figure out how you can improve, how to pick apart your writing a little better, identify what type of writer and aspects to improve upon, how those things work. Now, granted, this is not a composition grammar lesson. That is, you'll have to see Dr. J.M. Paquette's stuff. She has sentence diagramming 101. She has a comp and grammar book, 10 steps to save your editor's sanity. She has great content. You also have other resources for that. I am not the grammar composition gal. I have a doctorate in English literature who helps me with these things. But I can help you on the identify things that are worthy of developmental edits, right? I'm going to have a whole chapter on plots, a whole chapter on your world building. And I'm going to go at it at the angle of within writing, right? Within how you should be thinking about these things, breaking them down, because I don't think there's enough books that really focus on the writer's experience, thoughts, and emotions connected to these topics. So if you're wondering what Writer's Bane Writing a Novel 101 is aimed for, this is what I'm aiming for. This is what I'm working on. When will it come out? When Beth finishes putting it together. But it is in the works. So I'm excited about that. In the meantime, Formatting 101 has a crazy price on Amazon. So if you want to format a book, that's a pretty good time.